also debris in turn 4.
Both drivers are door to door as they head towards turn 1 and 2. They make contact. Around both of them go.
Incredible race out there tonight, drivers. Thank y'all so much for putting on such a great show for these fans. There was side-by-side action, clean, good, hard racing. Thank y'all so much for what y'all did for these fans. And give them a wave as you come down the front straightaway.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the From the Tower podcast, coming to you from SSR Motorsports Park. Logan, man, another episode. I missed last week, so glad to be back.
Yeah, glad to have you back. Me and Davey, we went rogue on that one. We didn't stick to our talking points. We meant to cover, results, and then we just kind of got to blabbering. So
No, it was a good episode. I got to watch it the next day with Abe and Andrew, and a lot of information still was able to come out of that. So really good episode. And like I said, I hate I missed it, but y'all did an amazing job. So thank you for covering me.
yeah, appreciate it. And I was really glad to get Abe and Andrew back on here. We got them on preseason, and they were dealing with the stresses of getting the track ready.
Right.
And they couldn't elaborate on a lot of what was going on. And now that they got a couple races under their belt, they were much different. They were a lot freer. They were able to speak a lot more freely on things that they want to do at the track and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was fixing to say, like, you can almost tell like a little bit of weight was lifted off their shoulders. They were just a little more loosey goosey
For sure.
this time coming around. So track's doing a great thing so far. Everything looks good.
Yeah.
Had a great field of legends, and that brings us to our guest tonight, Tim and Matt. How are y'all, man?
Doing good.
Yeah. Matt, how are you? Good.
Doing good.
Good. I mean, real quick, y'all's cars are beautiful, man. Y'all do a great job on y'all's wraps. Matt, how did you get into making those wraps? I know you kind of do them yourself.
Actually,
I think we need to also elaborate that Matt is the owner of All Star Graphics.
That's right.
One of our primary sponsors on the podcast and with the racetrack. So he makes all those signs and everything.
Right.
So.
I was trying to loop it into that
Yeah,
I was trying to give himself a shout out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah. So go ahead, Matt. Tell us the story of how you got going with that.
we actually started the sign shop from the racing. So we started racing here go-karts in 1988.
Yeah, 88.
Yeah, I believe it was
Where's
88 when it was still
Speedway?
J&J
Yes, sir.
and it was still dirt. And anyway, whenever Tim and my stepbrother Jay moved to cars, we had always hand cut all of our graphics for the go-karts, and we kind of started a little side business of graphic work when we got into big cars, and then that's kind of where All Star Graphics was born. We were All Star Racing, so it was just obvious that we go All Star Graphics, and started there, and it turned into a full-time business. We we did race cars for a while, and then we actually got out of race cars just because none of us were racing, so we weren't around the people as much.
Right.
And since we've been back over here at Sunny South with the Legend cars, man, we've really picked up a lot of new customers for race cars. So
Yeah, that's to say. I'm sure you're about to jump on that, but
Well, I was going to ask more. So my dad crashed his Vinyl Man in 2008, so we had to buy our own plotter cutter. Was that what y'all started with? Was more like a plotter cutter thing, or did y'all start with the actual printer? Or
no, actually, we started in '96. We started with a plotter, just a 24-inch plotter, and then I believe it was around 2001 we got our first printer, and
Yeah.
it was a small printer. And then 2009 we got our first wide format printer.
Okay.
And then actually this past off season we upgraded to our latest and greatest printer. So
Oh.
the cars this year are printed off of it. You'll notice the cars are a lot brighter than they were. That's just the bigger gamut and the bigger color gamut
Yes,
in
sir.
the new printer.
Yeah, we would just order the vinyl, and we had that plotter cutter, and we would do shadows and stuff where you do a black number and then you stick another number over top of it,
Right.
kind of deal. And so it little bit of experience in that realm where we did that for a couple people, but we never tried to make money with it. We essentially just tried to pay for the vinyl for our own cars.
That's kind of what we do still with race cars. I mean, just the ones we do over here. I mean, it's probably somewhat self-inflicted because we're racers. We know that money's usually better spent on something other than something that makes you go fast and just
Right.
look good. So we try to have a fair price for all the racers. We do a good many for TIR over in Texas at
Okay.
HMP. I've actually shipped out 3 or 4 over there so far this year, and I think I got 2 orders today while we've been here. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, I could tell you, it's always a funny thing, like at the beginning of the season, because you'll see someone unload a white car, and I think Mason Robertson may have done it this year, and I'm not sure if you did his wrap this year or not. But you would see a car unload brand new sparkly white, nothing on it, and then like you get into practice and it has like a little bit of something down the side of it,
Yeah, it had
and
like
then
the base layer
right, the base layer, and then you come to the heat race, and then they've got a number on it, and then
on
there's
one
something on the
side,
roof,
just one
right?
side though.
And so we know like, oh, well, Matt's got their graphic, he's working on it throughout the night and working on your stuff.
When you've lettered the safety truck during the middle of the night before, and
Mhm,
the parts
yeah,
room graphics and all that have been done on race nights.
right,
yeah. We if we got to work on race nights, we usually try to do it before the race or
Mhm.
either after the races. Now some of the go karts we do during, just because most of those guys are leaving before we are.
Right.
Some of them don't stay. But yeah, I mean sometimes, especially because of how far we are from the track, customers from over here, if they can't put them on themselves, we just kind of have to try to make time during the night to
Yes,
get them
sir.
on.
yeah,
And a lot of people I don't feel like understand how hard it is to get those wraps applied and get everything straight and everything lined up and all that. I've done one or two throughout the years, and it's a completely different experience than sticking just a number or something on there.
Yeah, it can be tedious. Now most of my wraps everything's lined up on them. So if you get one right, you get everything right.
Yes,
But
sir.
there, if you get one wrong, you get everything wrong.
Everything is off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of talked about it a little bit during Mr. Matt's story. Mr. Tim, how did you get wrapped into the racing world in general and where you are now?
Well, my dad was probably the start of it all. So, my dad started racing before I was even born back in the '60s, and I was raised at a racetrack. Back then, it was you could run 3 nights a week. My dad ran. He usually ran Pensacola Friday night, and he'd run. He liked to go to Jackson, Mississippi on Saturday
Mhm.
night, and then he'd run Baton Rouge on Sunday. And so, ever since I can remember, I was in the back of a station wagon at a racetrack somewhere. So, um, and then of course Matt's a few years younger than me, and he come along, and we all go to the racetrack, to watch my dad and help my dad. He went up, he run all pro and some NASCAR stuff a little bit here or there. So before he got out of it, and then when he got out of it, I started. That's basically when we started racing go karts over here. So we raced the go karts for a while, and then we jumped into the to dirt modifieds and asphalt modifieds and super late models for a while. So we had a good run, and I got out of it, and I thought I was retired, but Matt decided he wanted to race legend cars. He said they always looked fun
Mhm.
and wanted to try it. So he started trying. I just can't seem to stay away from it.
Yeah.
It seems to be kind of an addicting thing,
It is
racing.
very
Yeah.
once it's in you, I don't think you can stay away. You might take a couple years off, but you never stay fully away.
So that was my deal. Whenever we went to big cars, so I never drove until legend cars.
Mhm.
I always crew chief for Tim, and whenever he went to big cars, I was kind of out of my element. I didn't know anything about them. I mean, I had went and helped Uncle Tommy and stuff, but no kind of setup stuff. So
Right.
I kind of backed away from it, and life happened. Got married, had kids, but I knew if I can't go but to maybe one a year, anything more than that, I'm back in it full time. So,
Yep.
but then when we decided we was getting a legend car, that's pretty much been it. I mean, I think we run 38 races last year. I think.
Something like yeah, you did. I only
Yeah.
raced a
So
few, but
what all tracks do you travel to? I know obviously you race here at Sunny's house. We run about 15, 16 times a year, but obviously you're doing some traveling to race at other facilities.
So last year we did a lot of traveling. So we ran Winter Nationals down in Florida at
Mhm.
Auburndale. We ran Atlanta or Echo Park.
Mhm.
We
It's
ran
still Atlanta.
It's Atlanta.
Yeah.
we ran Nashville
Yeah.
Fairgrounds.
Mhm.
We did not run Cordele last year, but we normally run it during the year. We run Houston. Um,
went to Vegas
went to Vegas in
with the
The
October.
bull
as
ring.
The boring.
yeah
Yeah.
with the
Nice.
asphalt
So that's where
nationals.
the Asphalt
Yeah,
Nationals was. So we went over there. We actually had a pretty good showing over there. So
Mhm.
we made we had won the national qualifier here, so we had a provisional, and we were actually 2 pounds light on the scales in the last chance race after making it,
Yeah.
but we got DQ'd, so we had to start with a provisional.
Oh man.
But the good side of that was since we started last, you can only move forward, and we got the hard charger. We ended up 16th.
I
Okay.
got you.
How many cars started that race? Just
34.
yeah. So that well, whenever you hear that stat, you hear 16th, and it's like, okay, well, if there was 20 cars, that'd be impressive to gain 4 or 5 spots there. But 34 cars, that's almost 20 positions you picked up there. That's
There's
really impressive in a short race, which I'm sure it was.
Yeah, it was 35 laps, I believe.
Oh,
30 or
wow.
35.
Stretching my memory. I don't remember. Something like that.
That's
Yeah.
that's pretty much a car every lap and a
Yeah.
half, 2 laps.
And
So
and like Logan was saying, basing most of your racing here at SSR, I mean, last year, the year before, we'd average, I don't know, 6 to 7 legends a night, and leaving SSR and racing at the bull ring that has 34 cars. How much of a bigger challenge is that with all that different traffic having to work your way through there? Is that too big of a
The,
challenge, or was that something you were just ready for?
no, the challenge is I mean that many cars it is a challenge because the speed's not as big of a deal because everybody qualifies and races their way in. So the speed everybody's pretty much the same speed. So passing is a challenge. And a lot of that was just staying out of trouble. I
yeah,
mean,
Right,
avoiding stuff.
you
right.
get somewhere like that and there's so many cars. I mean, it's aggressive.
Yeah, I'm sure
So
there was probably 4 or 5 wide at times, just because
yeah,
everybody is running the same speeds. If you can get that position on somebody, you're gonna try and take
yeah,
that
you
spot.
pretty much have to kind of wrestle your way in there and then just hold on to it.
How
I
many
mean,
bumpers did you go through on that weekend?
Lots.
lots, lots
I've
and
seen
lots of bumpers.
I've seen the posts from the Winter Nationals and stuff like that where they're just stacks of bumpers
Just
and
bumpers laying around.
Fenders too. You wouldn't believe how many fenders you go through at a national. I
really.
mean, it's it's just aggressive.
Hmm.
It's not. I don't know. I would like to believe in the Masters. Everybody's old enough to know better, so it's not. But they're aggressive, man.
Yeah.
It's aggressive.
We talk about all the time when people put a helmet on, they're just completely different. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? And it's just one of those things you put a helmet on and they just forget who they are. It seems, to be it's a trend in
Yeah.
all of racing, I
Yeah,
think.
you can have one of the nicest people that you've ever talked to, and then they put a helmet on there. One of the most aggressive drivers that you've ever seen. It's like that was the sweetest person 20 minutes ago, and now they're out there beating bumpers off under caution. And
Hmm. Throwing signals out the window and stuff,
yeah,
telling you you're number one.
exactly.
Well, Mr. Tim, you were talking about how you race different cars and stuff throughout the years. The Legend car, how does it compare to any other car you've driven before?
It is a challenge.
Hmm.
I don't know if it's due to my age, trying to learn something new as you get older, or if it's just that these cars are so much of a challenge. But that's part of what we were doing today, trying to get some testing. I haven't raced as much as Matt. I've been trying to help him more,
Right.
Hmm.
and then only race a few times. And the problem I struggled with these cars is just getting comfortable. There's
Hmm.
just it has just been a really struggle for me to get comfortable in the car. And because if you're not comfortable, I know people say, well, it may not handle perfect. That might be fine, but you still have to be comfortable enough to push it, to find that edge, and to drive it a little outside of the box, but you got to be comfortable to do that, and I just hadn't been that way. So we've been we've been trying to find stuff that makes me comfortable. I've tried mat setups, and sometimes they're just not for me.
Mm.
And so we've been trying to find that balance between getting comfortable but still getting speed. So we're making gains on it, and I think as I learn too, though it helps me to help him also. We're
That
it's kind of growing together
you
here.
kind of
So
have
it's
twice the amount of feedback
yeah.
there. That way you can kind
Yeah,
of bounce off each
and we're
other.
actually starting to learn, which I didn't think would be so, but me and him actually like very similar things in the car, but
Hmm.
as we found out today, we drive them totally different to try to get that same feel. So it's a little bit weird, but we're gaining information and it's going to be helpful, hopefully.
Yeah, it's almost like having. I mean, basically, you have a teammate out
Hmm.
there, and being able to bounce back those ideas and those different setups and maybe um, entry points and all breaking points. I mean, that's got to help out tremendously on the competitive side, right?
Yeah, I mean it does. Just because I've crew chief for Tim for so long, a lot of things we communicate very well between us because we know what each other's talking about. But what we did find is when I'm in the car and he's in the pits, the communication's not as fluid because what I always envisioned when he's telling me how the car feels, well, then when I feel that, it's not necessarily the same,
Right.
you know. So sometimes there's been times that I'll just tell him, hey, you just watch and you tell me what you think the car's doing
Right.
because sometimes it just clears up some communication where I may be describing one thing, but I'm not describing it so that he can understand it.
Completely understand. I know, wh- especially whenever you work together for a long time, it gets easier and easier to pick up on certain things. Like I got to the point with my dad where I could watch his car on track, and I'd be like, "Oh, he's loose," and then I could go to him and be like, "All right, how loose are you?" It's just a little bit loose. Okay, well, I'll make this adjustment. We'll try it. We'll see what happens. And it's good to have that kind of rapport back and forth, especially whenever you build those relationships.
Yeah, and you mentioned again, traveling so much and different tracks. Obviously, you got to change setups for different tracks and what you're running. We've had several people tell us that SSR is a very technical track to get around. Do you kind of feel the same way? That's a question for both of y'all.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. It is probably one of the most technical tracks, and I mean I've run a lot of racetracks between dirt and asphalt, and this is just probably one of the most technical tracks you'll ever drive. It is. It absolutely is.
I agree. I think that it's very technical, and not only is it technical, but it's a momentum track. So
Hmm.
once you make a mess up, it bites you for multiple laps. It's not just okay,
Hmm.
that was one bad corner and we'll pick up from there. It's one bad corner, but you're going to recover from it for a lap and a half or 2 laps.
Yeah, we kind of saw that with Cameron Millette in that first
Hmm.
race whenever he had that slide off of two.
Yeah.
It took him several laps. And it's almost one of those things where I feel like it takes you a couple laps to get back comfortable and get your rhythm back a little bit.
Yeah, and 2 would be the momentum spot. I feel
Yeah.
like because coming out of 2, that's where you're coming around the sweeping backstretch, but coming out
Hmm.
of 4, you're not to a dead stop, but you are that's probably your slowest point of the track, I
That
would
wall
feel like.
comes up quick.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
so
to me, turn four is the most unnerving.
mhm,
I mean, that's where I tend to make more mistakes just because the wall comes up so quick
It
and
gets
not
very tight off of turn four. It way tighter than you think it was because, like Tim was saying, you do carry so much speed down the backstretch and you really arc it into three, and then it that wall comes up quick.
mhm.
yeah, and then with the new pavement there coming off four, that's been a whole new learning curve for me.
What are y'all experiencing coming off of turn 4 with that new pavement work?
So some people say that it's got more grip. I feel like it's got less grip.
Okay.
I mean, the car steps out when you get on it, and there's not a bump, a transition bump. So it's not from a bump. It's just, but I don't know if it could possibly be because it bites so hard and it rolls a little further than you're used to it rolling on the
Mhm.
right side, and then it just overcomes the lateral force and
Gotcha.
gets loose. So maybe it does have more grip, but the end result is the car gets loose.
Are you feeling kind of the same thing on your end, Mr. Tim?
Yeah, and I can't, I can't really put my finger on it whether it's more grip or less grip, but I will say that there is a grip difference when
Mhm.
you run through that spot. So with that, if you have the car, kind of like what Matt was talking about, if you have it loaded laterally,
Hmm.
where you have a lot of side load in it, it really messes it up because there's two transitions. There's a transition onto it and a transition off of it.
Right.
So to me, the 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 thing that I've had to try to do is just get as straight as possible across it because I don't like that lateral load in the car crossing it. And it is a grip difference. I don't know that it's more or less, but you can definitely it moves the car around when you load onto it and when you come off of it. So
I gotcha. I mean, we see a lot of people. I mean, just Mason Massey. I've
Hmm.
referenced in the both race nights. He may just be a setup. I haven't talked to him or Mr. Elliott about it, but
In the bando.
in the bando,
In the
yeah,
bando. Yeah.
he comes out of 4 and he is just loose. I mean,
Yeah.
there's been a few times he
yeah.
almost slapped the wall.
Yeah.
Um, and so I
And
kind
they
of,
did a great job with the transition there because you don't feel it at all. There's no like a
there's not even a
bump
little
or
rivet or
anything,
nothing.
nothing. You cannot tell you, but
Well,
but you can tell the grip difference.
yeah, we can attest it went through a couple iterations because at one point they paved about halfway up the track, and I guess it wasn't transitioning good the way that they had it. Abe's made a bunch of test hits with his car and stuff like that. That's a good thing about track owners having race cars, is
Right.
they can go out there and they can kind of test it. They know what they're looking for. But and then we came back a couple weeks later and it was paved all the way up to the wall, and it was like, oh, okay, well there was obviously something there that they didn't like.
Right. Um, and speaking of all the new stuff at SSR, uh, when y'all first came for the first time seeing all the new upgrades, what did you guys think? Because personally, I think it looks beautiful. I think it's a very beautiful facility. Always has been, but the upgrades just add so much more.
I agree. It does look beautiful, and I had seen pictures throughout the deal, between doing the graphics, and Abe and I are friends anyway, so I had seen some pictures, but when I got here and got to see it in person, it's like,
Mhm.
man, this is really nice. It's you can tell they put a lot of effort into not just the safety and all, but just the appearance of it, and
Hmm.
the a whole atmosphere. I mean, I don't know if y'all have noticed this year, but I mean, just walking around through the like after a night of racing, you look through the pits. Even the racers take more pride in it. There's not near as much trash around. Not
Hmm.
that not that there was a lot before, but I mean, it seems like people try to keep their stuff picked up more.
Yes, sir.
The
Yeah.
stands are full. I mean, as
Oh,
Yeah,
full as I've seen them.
we've had incredible turnout, and not only in the stands, we've had great car turnouts.
yes.
I know last Legends race we had 13.
13
That
legends.
is the biggest field. I've been here for 7 years, and I think that's the biggest field we've ever had. I mean, it was a beautiful sight watching y'all going down a backstretch,
Hmm.
all in formation, getting ready to fire off.
Yeah.
And I think it's seen more than just here as well. I talked to a team out of Houston that even with the chance of weather we have this weekend, they're talking about making the pull from Houston to come run with us.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And that's to me that's pretty neat. That says a lot for what they got going here.
Hmm.
I think it looks nice, and I appreciate the fact that they trying to make it a multi-use facility,
Hmm.
because I think that is huge these days. You can't just be it's so
Oh,
cliche, but a one-trick pony.
yes,
Right.
sir.
You've got to have multiple things that bring you revenue, and it looks like they're really setting the track up for success, which is exciting. That excites us,
Yeah.
Yeah.
too. So
And we hit that a couple times when we were talking to Abe and Andrew originally. Um, how they were trying to just not only bring more different types of motorsports to the track, but to help the longevity of it. I mean, in today's economy, today's world, I mean, it's expensive.
Yes.
Racing's expensive. Owning a race car is expensive. I can only imagine owning a racetrack.
Correct.
Between
Yeah.
between staff and the stuff you have to do to keep it up to date and the stuff you have to make it run on a race weekend. So definitely doing a great job on that point.
Hmm.
So Mr. Matt, you got some races coming up. What's all on your schedule for this year?
Actually, we're backing off of our schedule a good bit this year. We didn't make Winter Nationals, and I wanted to go to Spring Nationals. My little girl turns she's the baby,
Hmm.
and she turns 16 the week of Spring Nationals.
Okay.
So I decided we weren't going to Spring Nationals this year. So we were actually planning to go to a money race in Huntsville this weekend, but it ended up getting postponed. So we'll be
Gotcha.
here this
Gotcha.
weekend.
Okay.
We're going to try to run Houston a couple times. We're going to try to run Echo Park some.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Tim, are you doing the same schedule with Mr. Matt over here?
yeah, we'll see where it takes us. I don't think we got nothing like really set in stone. It's kind of, we know what everybody's doing, and it's just kind of the mood. If our cars are running good, we're gonna want to go run it. And we also still have my Outlaw that we plan on
Hmm.
running maybe Mobile or Pensacola a couple of times with. So we still got that car too that we like to play with. But the Legend of course is our main focus. But so we'll see where it takes us. It's kind of one of them deals. We'll wait till the weekend comes up and we'll say what races are out there, and we're gonna see if we feel like going.
Yes, sir. You brought up Mobile. The track record in the Outlaw division has been broken both races this year at
That's
Mobile.
what I have heard. That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
what
I
I have
mean,
heard.
it's getting broken by, thousands to hundreds of a second,
Yep.
but it's still that track is seeming to pick up pace, just like this
Yeah.
place has.
Yeah.
And who
Yes.
broke it this past weekend?
Uh,
Cody.
n-
Cody.
no,
Hadley?
it's Cody's driven that car. It's Justin Steiner.
Justin Steiner,
Yeah.
Mr. Steiner,
Mr.
whose name
Steiner.
I forgot.
I was blanking
Again,
on it for a
yeah.
second there.
I wrote
We
it down
covered
in
it
my
the first.
brain.
We covered it the first Mobile recap, and we
Yeah.
just called him Mr. Steiner because his first name was cut off on the sheet. But I brought the sheets this week, that way we can do a recap.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I got Matt crew chiefing me for that. I
Mhm.
keep trying to get him to drive it. He won't get in it, but
Oh, come
we
on, man.
we hadn't run it for a couple of years, and we finally kind of kicked the dust off of it and cleaned it up last year and run the 100
Mhm.
lapper they had at the end of
I
the
remember
year.
seeing it.
Yeah,
And that was a
But we
beautiful
it's a
car.
very
But
pretty car.
we fought mechanical trouble
Yes,
all
sir.
weekend, and just from fighting mechanical trouble, you can't make the car faster. You know,
Right.
so we kind of fought it all weekend and didn't. We had a fun weekend, but
Mhm.
we just didn't have a good finish on the racetrack. But
Yes, sir.
if we go back at it, we want to do a little better with it next time we go out with it.
Yeah,
So.
and that's probably been a lot of the hold up as far as not trying to make one so far is we're not where we want to be as far as is set up and mechanically sound in the car. So, we want to go over a few things.
Yeah, for sure. You
I-
gotta make sure it's right before you tow somewhere, hours away. You definitely don't want to get there and then have to be working on it for hours at a time trying to just work bugs out.
Yep.
Yeah, and we feel like we leave the house pretty well prepared.
Mhm.
But one of the big things to me is especially with the big car, you pull over there and you have to buy a set of tires. It don't really matter how you run; they're not going to be no good next week.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, you don't want to go spend that money on a set of tires to have a back of the pack showing. So.
Yeah,
Right.
we had a tire sponsor in 2012, and my dad went in there and he got the first check. I think it was super stocks back then, but it's still the 8-inch Hoosiers. And they gave him the check. He went back for the second race, and they were like, what are you doing?" He was like, "Well, I'm here to get the tire money." And I was like, "Well, we gave you the tire money." He goes, "That was first week." And they go, "Well, they're not still good." And he goes, "We put a set of tires on every week." And they was like, "Oh my God, what have we gotten into here?" They
Yeah.
had no idea. They thought it was like car tires, that it would last a year or two, and it's just not. Once you get the goodie out of them, they're gone.
It's a true story.
Yes, sir.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean,
So do y'all want to sponsor tire sponsor? I mean,
we will give you a sticker that you
I can
put.
buy probably 1/10 of one tire. So.
that's about what we can buy.
And speaking of the stickers, I did want to again thank you, Mr. Matt.
Yes, sir.
We started the podcast and you were ready to jump on board just to make us some stickers, just to help out, get the name of From the Tower out there. And so again, thank you, not only for that, but just for what you do for the racing community. You jump in, you help these people, and you help the signage of the tracks, and you just do an amazing thing. And it just shows it's a testament to who the person you are. And so
Well, I
we want to
appreciate
thank
that.
you that.
Yeah. I believe every sign here you've made, haven't you?
Just about. I
Yeah.
think there's just a couple left that we haven't touched.
Right, but I just wanted to point that out because of how well the signs look. That way people know that that's the quality of work that y'all are producing every time. It's not anything, any junk. It's always beautiful signage. It's very well colored. I know
Mhm.
they've got a new one above the window down there where you pay to get in,
I saw
the
that, yeah.
grandstand entry prices and all that.
Yeah, I put that up after the last race.
Yeah, it's
It was
gorgeous.
It was about 1 o'clock in the morning. We were sticking that one
Yes,
up.
sir. Yes,
Always
sir.
working.
Yeah, yeah.
Got to try to pay for tires.
There
Yes,
you go.
sir.
There you go.
He's probably trading out signs, 4 sets of tires at this point. It's just like no cash exchange hands. Just have me 2 sets ready.
Go put some money on my tire book at the track for me. Yeah.
You're probably not far off.
Yeah.
You're pretty close.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes, sir.
Well, we want to give you guys a second to obviously, All Star Graphics is a big sponsor for everybody, but just to shout out your personal sponsors on who help y'all with y'all's cars.
All right. Well, Jason Page that owns Page Lawnmower. Um, he does a lot for us. He does a lot for the race team and then their support. They got us hooked up with Bad Boy Lawnmowers. That's why the car is always orange.
Right.
Bad Boy's been great to work with, and they have awesome products.
Yeah, I have a bad boy mower myself.
Cool. And they, uh, like I said, that's my two biggest sponsors is Jason at Page Lawnmower and then Bad Boy Mowers. Uh, Tim and I together years ago, probably I don't know, 20 years ago, we started a little company called LRS Logic Racing Solutions,
Okay.
and we've tried to bring it over to the Legend cars some, and we make a few different little things, different setup tools and brackets, things like that for the Legend cars and the go karts, bandos. So,
Okay.
Gotcha.
Mm.
Mr. Tim, you got anybody else you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, this whole race team, and it always has been. It's just mostly um, a conglomeration of friends and
Mhm.
everything, and that's like the trailer we tow with is Mr. Chuck Hooperage. It belongs to him. But he loans it to us as long as you're racing out of it, y'all go have fun.
That's
And
awesome.
so that saves us, we have to maintenance it, but it obviously gives us something to race out of. And Mr. Danny Crabb, he always he's got just a wealth of knowledge. He's been racing since probably the 60s or so,
Mhm.
and he has every tool known to man in his shop. And if we don't have something, I assure you, he's got it over
He's
there.
got it.
Yes,
Or if
sir.
we
We
want to test something, he
yeah
has the stuff to test
yeah,
with.
and
So
Really.
so
he's
he helps us out a lot, and Truett, and there's she just and like I said, Jason Page comes with us all the time. Um, my wife is pretty supportive of it too. When I tried to quit between him wanting to get into the seat and start driving, and my wife telling me, "No, you're not going to quit racing because you're going to do nothing but aggravate me,
Mhm.
and you're going to be grumpy, and you're not going to like this, and you're not quitting." So she basically forced me to go back racing. So,
I
um,
mean, I don't feel like she had to twist your arm very hard on that aspect.
Yeah.
well, I tell her she did, but
Yeah.
well,
Well,
but did I miss it? Did I leave anybody out?
I think you covered about everybody except for Josh Mullins.
Yep,
Mullins
yeah,
Performance.
just with Mullins Performance, he always gives us setup help and advice, and a lot big help with the legend cars because he's a former national champion and
Yeah.
everything. He is super to us.
He's been down to
But
race down here with
yeah,
us a couple of times, and
Doug Malone comes and helps us. A good friend of mine. He actually lives in North Carolina, but if he finds out we're racing somewhere, he will get on an airplane and be here.
oh
That's
wow,
So
commitment right
that
yeah,
there.
is very much
We
commitment.
he will.
yeah,
we
And so he's
we couldn't even get our crew guys to come help at the shop half
yeah.
the time, so they'd show up on race night, and that's about it.
we can get them to the racetrack.
Yeah.
It's hard to get them to the
Yeah,
shop.
the
Yeah.
shop is usually me and Matt
Yeah.
a
They
lot,
know
but
that's where all the real work's done. That's
Right.
what
Now,
I hear.
speaking of the shop, my girlfriend Tricia,
Mhm.
she helps in the shop a ton.
Mhm.
If nobody else shows up to help, she'll come out there and she'll help with whatever I ask her to. And then my kids, they put up with my racing, and a lot of vacations are spent at racetracks and things like that.
yeah,
And then my mom and my stepdad, they run the shop when I'm gone. So
Yeah.
like today, we're over here testing. I mean, All Star Graphics is still running. So
Yes, sir.
and
Yeah.
the car I'm actually in, my son actually bought that car from over here a few years ago as a bare chassis. He drove some. He will come help us a little bit. He just not driving because he's trying to build a house right now, and he said
Gotcha.
I need to concentrate on that. I don't need to be spending money on racing. So
Completely
there's
Yeah,
understandable.
for
but there's
sure.
no way I can leave the car just sitting out there in the shop without nobody driving it.
There's
So
a good car with no drivers. I'm
Exactly.
gonna hop in there and take it
Exactly.
for.
so but he does help when needed. He'll give us a helping hand with some stuff too. So
and
Mhm.
as
it's just family and friends
And that
and
crew aspect is overlooked
and
a lot of
and
times.
Sadie.
Oh, yep, and your crew
yeah,
chief.
my
We
crew
can't
chief
can't
Sadie,
can't forget her.
Mhm.
say, come here, come here.
There's Sadie.
But like I was saying, that crew aspect's overlooked a lot of times because I
It
know
is.
with our crew, we couldn't afford to pay their way in. They
Yeah.
spent their own money, their own time to come out and help at the racetrack and do what they could. And we did have people that came over to the shop and would help us, get the car ready on Friday night, stuff like that. I
Yeah.
mean, most of the stuff was done by me and my dad, but you have those crew members that they'll sacrifice their time, and that's the
Right.
biggest thing, their time and their own personal money to help you out.
Well, I think that's missing a lot in racing today. You know, a lot of people say, why can't you get younger people? Sometimes it's harder to get involved, but it is that group aspect. I don't think one of us would have done racing just by ourselves.
Mm,
What happened was we had a group and we all liked it, and
Mhm.
we but not only did we enjoy the racing, we enjoyed the shop and just the joking and the doing stuff together. And when you did, succeed or win a race or whatever, it was an entire group effort, and you felt it. But
mhm,
that's just what somehow got to get the younger generation involved in that they and realize there's a lot of camaraderie. There's a lot of
mhm.
there's a lot of just just being with your buddies and hanging out.
And there's a lot of life
Yes.
lessons in racing.
Mhm.
Oh,
You know,
absolutely.
disappointment and the
Oh,
highs and the
you're
lows of
always gonna
everything.
lose more than you win.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
care who you are, Kyle Busch, anybody else. If you win 10%,
Yes,
you're
sir.
You're doing a
lucky.
good job.
So you got to realize 90% of the time
Right.
And
you're not the first one across the stripe.
Well,
and
and,
to kind
and
of feed into what he was saying, like, when you win together, that's great. But I would say some of our best memories may not have been good nights,
Right.
Mhm.
but it's where everybody pulled together and we
Yeah.
worked through it, and there was some funny moments or whatever the
Right.
case may be. But I mean, of course, we leave the shop with intentions to win,
right.
but it's that isn't what makes it fun all the time.
No.
Right. And it seems to be a trending thing on the podcast and just in racing in general. Family. Racing is just a big family. We've touched on
Yeah,
it
for
several
sure.
times, and it's obviously it runs through your family a bunch, and then Mr. Matt jumps on and runs through his family as well. And we'd like to take a second and thank who we consider our family, and that is our sponsors right now. We at From the Tower want to take a second and thank all of our amazing sponsors, the two of them we have right now. The first one, OEC Workplace Solutions. They donated us a very beautiful table to do our work on, so thank you to them. Go see them for all the other office supply needs, office furniture needs. They have multiple lines of furniture and different things you need for the office setting. Make sure you reach out to them and check them out. Also, All Star Graphics, Matt Hillhouse, our racer here at SSR, does a great job with the cars on track vinyl work, stickers, shirts, T-shirts, signs, yard signs. Has everything you need to make sure all your signage needs are taken care of. Thank you to our sponsors. Well, look, and it was fun to have one of our own sponsors to the podcast, Matt
Mhm.
Hillhouse, on the podcast and get his take on for one the changes at SSR,
Mhm.
Legends Racing, and just the history of Tim Martin is
Exactly.
something
Yeah,
cool to have
I've
on the show as
grown
well.
up around the Martin name at
Mhm.
Mobile International, and it was really cool. We'd actually talked several times about how we were going to get Matt on the podcast because a lot of people don't know he tows from Louisiana every week.
Right,
That All Star Graphics and everything is located in Louisiana, and that's where they tow out of.
right,
So we haven't quite, got to the point of doing phone interviews and such as that. So it was really fortunate that he was here this week and we were able to
right.
kind of make everything work.
It was really cool, and we talk about all the time how we do so much behind the scenes, not only
Mhm.
for the racetrack, but just bouncing ideas and stuff. And obviously, we have a group text between me, you, and Davey.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Davey, you're sitting right there behind the camera. Thank you
Yep.
for all you do. Um,
Mr. Technical Director.
technical director. Um, we were talking today, like we just didn't have a guest lined up.
Yeah.
Life has been so busy for one of the racing season and just everything going on.
It snuck up on me, man.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I didn't even think about it until yesterday. I was like, "Oh crap, we've got to record a pod tomorrow." And
Right.
I haven't even thought about
We
reaching
haven't,
out to
yeah,
anybody.
we didn't have a guest lined up, so we were just gonna do us three and roll through some results and stuff, and then boom,
Yeah.
Matt Hillhouse and Tim Martin falls in the lap.
Yeah, I texted Abe today just to kind of, make sure he was going to be here, let us in the facility and everything. And then it was several hours later, he texted me back and he was like, "Matt and Tim are here if you want to get them on." And I reached out to you boys. Y'all were fine with it. And then I was like, "Yeah, that'd be awesome." And shout out to Abe for helping us out there and kind of having that idea because I never even thought about it.
Yeah, it
No,
was
well, didn't know they were here for one,
right.
but and I texted him back and I was like, "Man, I appreciate it because that's awesome. We can get them on there and get them covered and everything. Track sponsor, pod sponsor, all that gets checked off in the boxes, and then yeah, he made it happen."
That's where I was going with it. He just does so much for the track. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? And for the racers here,
Mhm.
and just does an amazing thing again for the racing community. So thank you again, Mr. Matt and Mr. Tim, for being on. Great to hear their stories. They
Yeah,
have a lot of
for
history and
sure.
stuff. But we had a pretty busy weekend this weekend. Speaking of busy life at Mobile International Speedway, good racing. It was a
Yes,
good race night.
it was a great race night. We the track crew there has been there for years.
Hmm.
I grew up around most of them. We have a few newer people, but they've
Right,
been there since Eddie took over, and
right.
everybody knows their jobs really well.
Hmm.
And it makes it a fun race night.
Yeah,
Um, we we had sprint cars,
right.
which was amazing. I love sprint cars. I will even when we weren't racing,
Hmm.
I would keep an eye on Mobile Speedway, and if they had sprint cars coming, I would tell Bobby, and he's like, "All right, yeah, we'll go watch sprint cars."
Yeah. No, for sure. It was not only cool to see the sprint cars. The sprint cars are just cool to watch in general.
Yes.
On asphalt, sprint cars are a little different than dirt. They're really, really fast on dirt. But I mean, They were super fast.
They are hooked up around Mobile.
It
It,
was crazy. I was in the flag stand this weekend
Mhm.
again. And I've been in the flag stand before, and I don't remember them being that fast. They were so fast.
Yeah, I think they were within a second of the track record, and the track record is gonna stand because the when it was established, we were running I forget what the 604 or 406.
Yeah.
It's a different motor in those sprint cars. It's a larger engine. They go a
Mhm.
little bit faster, but man, they were flying around that racetrack. And our eventual race winner, he was absolutely on another level. I think he was like a second and three quarters faster than the second qualifier.
Right. It
Incredibly
was
fast. He was within a half a straightaway of lapping the field in the
yeah.
feature.
I was fixing to get to that, and
And I
he
really think he backed off
yeah,
because
that
he had no reason to go up there and push it.
yeah, no, I was fixing to get to that because I was watching obviously in the flag stand, and in my career of flagging, I've never had to grab the move over flag for second place. But I had it ready for second place. It was
Yes.
the craziest thing. He was just so fast, and
Mhm.
that's Aaron Willison. He's out of
Yes.
Canada.
That's crazy
Yeah,
too to
yeah.
travel that far. But I think we talked to Bill was saying he's going to kind of stay down here and run a lot of the
Mhm,
Southern sprint car stuff. Because Pensacola's having $1 million to win sprint car race. That's
mhm.
going to be really cool.
What April the 10th, I think, is coming up. I want to
I don't
say,
want to misspeak.
yeah,
I know I've been seeing ads for it on
mhm,
Facebook, and I want to go watch it. I'll be
yeah.
honest with you.
I think that's coming up. Don't quote me on that date, but it's pretty soon.
Yeah, check
Um,
out Five Flags Facebook page and
mhm,
website for sure, and it has more details. I know, and they are pushing ads on it for sure because it's not even popping up with me following Five Flags. It's popping up as like a reel with an ad attached to it.
mhm. Yeah, and still, it's just amazing to watch the sprint cars. And he was so fast, and I mentioned it to you during
Hmm.
practice, and then qualifying again. He was so fast that when he flew by the flag stand at the start and finish line, the pressure changed like around me. It was the I've never experienced that in the flag stand before. It
Hmm.
was really weird. SSR's flag stand, obviously, way above the racetrack,
Yeah,
and nothing with like a wing like that around here, but it was just a crazy feel. I don't even know how to explain it. It just kind of felt like for a split second everything floated. It was really,
and
really
I'm
weird.
wondering if it's because that wing is pushing so much air upwards
Right.
whenever it went by you. Because I've been in the flag stand at Mobile. I flagged a practice session. I've never
Mhm.
flagged a race, but it is uncomfortably close to the racetrack for
Yeah,
me.
it's pretty close.
It's really far down there, and
Yeah.
so it's one of those deals where I can imagine the amount of air that those cars move,
Right.
it would create some kind of a air pressure change there.
Yeah. Now it's funny because the sprint cars don't come up against the wall like some of the other classes do. They kind of stay a little, maybe half a lane down.
Mhm.
Uh, if they would come up close to the wall, I could high five all their top wings. Every one
Yeah.
of them, I could high five them.
Yeah.
That's how close it is. But again, Aaron Willison with the win that night. JJ Dudden finished second, and
Mhm.
Francis Crowder rounded up the top three. And I know a lot of the cars. There was a few that had issues before the race even started, but um, just another fun race night with the sprint cars in Mobile.
Yeah. And the one thing I hate about sprint cars, I love the sprint cars, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if they're just a more fragile car,
Mhm.
but we seem to have a lot of them fall out as that
Right.
race goes on. I think we started with what, like 16 cars?
13.
13.
13. Yeah.
And so I want to say by the end there were 6 running.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I completely forgot. The one dude carried a cone for
Yeah.
over half the
Yeah. Who
race.
was it? That was Todd Bliss, I think. The
The
121.
121,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Um,
we had one car that was they just had to have been starting parking it because
mhm.
he was really off the pace.
Right.
He went 2 laps down pretty early and then he pulled in.
Right.
But he was slow on the bottom, and the closing rate in the sprint cars whenever somebody's going slow is
It's
crazy.
crazy. Yeah.
Well, the backstretch pit entry is marked by 2 orange cones,
Mhm.
one on either side. That way you kind of know where it is because
Right.
it's hard to see.
Right.
So he had to go low, and he got those orange cones, and one of them stuck to the front wing and was there. And how many laps in a row did we black flag him?
3 in a row for sure. And I think the fourth one, you were like, just put it back. He can't see it. And I
Well,
mean,
and the cone wasn't moving,
yeah.
so it was one
No,
of
it
those
was
things.
lodged. It was
Oh
stuck.
yeah, the air was just
Mhm.
it probably screwed his aero package up. But
Yeah.
yeah,
It was maybe it wasn't halfway through the race, but it was definitely maybe 10 laps. I think 10
hmm
laps or so. He had that cone. stuck to the front of the car, and it didn't, and we just checker flag, and that's when that cone came off the car.
On the front straightaway
On the
coming
front
around. It was
straightaway.
like he just deposited it there for our tractor.
He's like, here, take it and put it
The-
back now. I'm
The
done with it.
cones have had a terrible season at Mobile.
They-
I think people are aiming for them.
Yeah, I think so too. I think we need kind of like the little end zone markers in
Mhm.
NFL. If they get knocked over, you can just plop them back up.
Mhm.
They're so small, they're kind of out of the way, but then you can't really see it. I don't know how you fix that either.
It would
But
be really nice if we could get some of those with pylon cams in them as well.
that would be really cool.
Oh yes, yes.
But going back just a couple seconds here,
Mhm.
maybe a minute now. Tim, you said if they were up any closer, you could high five their wings.
Yep, easily.
I would prefer you not do that
Yeah,
because
I
I
mean-
want you to keep your whole body intact.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that would slice your hand open if you touch the wrong part.
Oh,
And
for sure.
Those wings are pretty sharp on the edges, but
Mhm.
that's how close the flag stand is at Mobile, and so it's fun and scary at the same time, being that close.
Yeah, I'm comfortable in the Sunny South Tower that
Yeah.
high above the track. I don't want to be too close to the track.
Yeah.
No,
Well, and that was the crazy thing to me was the first flag stand I ever climbed up into was Sunny South.
Right.
To flag here. And then I was going over there one day and they needed somebody to flag practice and I got up in that in that flag stand and I was like, oh, this is different.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
It's not the flag stand that was there when we were kids either. I feel like something's changed, or maybe they rebuilt it or something. Something's different.
They
but
took the walls all away from around it.
Yeah, it
It
did.
used to say like Skull Bandit all the way around it, I
Yeah,
want to say.
yeah, you're
And
right.
I think it may just have changed the aesthetic of it to where
Yeah.
it looks different now.
Right.
I could be wrong, but I could have sworn I remember it being taller back when my dad
I
was
don't
racing.
know.
Well, and I think it's the perspective from the pit area. From the pit area, it does look
yeah.
very tall, but when you're in it, it's not very high above the
Yeah.
racetrack.
Yeah.
I think it jutted out a little more too, or
Mhm.
something. Something's changed. Maybe they cut it back a little bit, but it's
It could have been a sprint car hit it.
It
So
could
they
have
so
been.
they, so they had to
it
take
could
it
have
back.
been.
Or the big rigs. The big rigs have been running a lot down
That's
there
true.
too.
They are extremely close to that
Yeah.
flag
Yeah,
stand.
I'm not high fiving a big rig.
Yeah.
I'll try a sprint car if they get close enough.
Yeah, you actually got to race direct the big rig race last year. That
I
was pretty
did.
cool.
I
Yeah.
did want to bring that up. That was kind of like your first taste of doing a full race night.
Yeah,
race
it was
director.
it was fun. I know I asked Logan to come do it, but he obviously was enjoying himself in the pits.
Oh, I was drunk. I'll just say it. Like that was the first time I've been to a racetrack in years where I was able to be a race fan.
hmm
And whenever you and Chris pulled down there on the golf cart, I was already a couple bottles in, and I was like, I don't feel comfortable representing y'all at this point.
A couple bottles in, and the Bama game was on TV.
And the Bama game, yeah.
Yeah, and we had food.
And
There's no food
yeah.
up in the towers.
Yeah,
so.
that's a hard deal to beat.
Yeah, I brought Kaneka. Oh God, yeah, I was not leaving it. So
All I did was took what I've learned over the years from watching you, man, and put it to practice, and it worked out being.
well,
a great
that's the
race
main
night.
reason I recommended you because like you help me make the calls here, even whenever you're watching other parts of the track. You and Davey both, everybody. We've talked about it before. It's
Right.
it's almost race directing by committee,
Right.
because you can't watch the whole track.
Right.
And so as soon as I was like, I don't feel comfortable, I wouldn't feel right representing y'all the way I am right now because
Mhm.
my judgment's going to be clouded. As soon as that conversation happened, I was like, but Tim can do it.
And
Yeah.
from a race fan, that was a great show that
Mhm.
you were able to run so smoothly.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It was a very
Well-
weird night, but
Well, because
it
they
came out to-
didn't really have a plan, did
they didn't have a race director at all.
And so you kind of on the fly came in and were able to make a race night out of it,
Right.
and not only a race night out of it, a very entertaining race night that was run very efficiently and well.
Well, I appreciate it. I
Yeah,
appreciate it. Maybe one day I'll get to try the race directing role again or something. We'll for
We'll
some
swap
big
for next
rigs.
race. I'll flag.
You want to flag?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll talk to Eddie.
All right.
All right. But anyway, sprint cars, a great show as always.
Yeah.
Aaron Willison getting the win there again. JJ Dutton and Francis Crowder rounded that out. And I mean, if we had cautions, it was for some silly stuff.
Mhm.
We didn't really have but one big wreck, and we'll get to that soon.
Yeah, we had 4 local divisions running with the sprint cars.
Right. And one of them was the Crown Stocks,
Mhm.
and they always put on a heck of a show.
They do.
And we were talking about back and forth, on the radio, how the first was it 3 feature races minus the sprint cars
Yeah, 3 out of
were
the 5 total.
were SSR alumni,
Yes,
and
got their starts here.
right, and one of them was in the Crown Stocks, and that's Caleb Sanford.
Yeah.
And I don't even think he practiced. I think he showed up and unloaded, and
He
maybe
went out for the group
for the group
qualifying, and
qualifying.
which kind of counts as a practice session.
Right,
You
yeah.
know, we had 30 minutes allocated. We tried to run 8-minute sessions that way because we do have to clear the pit gate. You know,
Right.
it has to cross the track and everything. So we tried to end it 2 minutes early. It takes a little bit longer. You know, we're a little behind schedule, but it all worked out in the end. But it was really funny. You know, he went out there and he qualified and he was on pole.
Right.
And then Charlie Ferguson went out and he sat on pole. And then, well, here come Caleb right
Right.
back out of the pits, back onto the pole.
Right.
And so that entire Sanford family, man, they have been involved in racing for
A
years.
long time.
They sponsor cars. Sandy, his dad, was the main proprietor of Turn 2 Tavern, which was just where all of us would hang out on nights where we weren't racing.
Right.
And just great people.
Yeah, for sure. Huge racing family, like you said.
For sure.
And like you said, Charlie Ferguson, who was up there battling for the pole,
Yes.
wound up finishing second
Yeah.
in his second Crown Stock race, as far as
Great
I know.
run for
Yeah.
him, yeah. And I told him he was up there whenever we were getting ready to roll the dice and everything. I was like, man, McDade needs to put you in that late model. I think you can go out there and impress. He's like, oh, he won't do that, but it'd be cool.
It'd be cool, yeah, for sure. And then finish out the podium, Ryan Blake, who races Crown Stocks all over the place.
I thought he had a new car, but that looked like his old car
That
out
was
there
his old
last
car,
weekend.
yeah, for
So
sure.
maybe it handles better.
Yeah, I don't know. He did great, finished third.
Yeah, I mean,
he's always a contender.
We
so.
only had one. We had the most serious incident of the night. I feel like was in the Crown Stocks where the one wall slap coming off a Ford. Where I believe it was let me see our sheet
It's
here. Michael Steiner got loose.
Yep.
Came
out of
back
four.
down the racetrack and got into
Jordan Berry.
Jordan Berry
And put Jordan
hard
into the wall,
into the
side.
right side wall. So,
Yeah.
or right side into the wall.
Yeah.
But very
And-
upset on Mr. Berry's part. Understandably, that car was junked at that point.
Yeah, and honestly, if you're watching Mr. Berry, from the flag stand, it did not look intentional.
No, it did not.
It didn't look intentional.
the-
The 316 was very loose.
The entire race night,
Yeah.
everybody was loose. I don't know what was up with the track. We had several spins in practice. We had several people wildly loose out of 4. I don't know if something changed with that corner, but a lot of people were loose out of turn 4 in every division. Well, not sprint cars. They were pretty planted, but every other division, we had a lot of just
people loose and wiggling. Yeah. And it's getting hotter, so maybe a little slick at the time, you know.
Right.
And again, another SSR alumni picking up the pure stock win.
Yes.
Eli Loper.
Eli Loper, that was pretty cool.
He showed up, and he showed out. He was fast all night.
I believe he picked up the win the night before in Pensacola.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so he got pole. And then he rolled the dice and still wound up winning the race. Colby McDonald second, and then Connor Odom rounded out that podium. So another SSR alumni for the win in the pure stocks. And we've already covered the sprint cars, so we'll flip on to the Outlaws, who was the other SSR alumni that won, Carter Taylor.
Yes.
He just continues to impress in the Outlaws, man.
Yeah.
He is just fast.
Like we talked about with Matt and Tim, Justin Steiner broke the track record.
Right.
Broke it by a few tenths. Always cool whenever you can gain a track record out of any division. And then he was stalking Carter the entire night. He did. Carter wasn't able to just relax and go. He was able to get a gap. It was about, I'd say, a quarter to a half a straightaway, and it went back and forth.
Yeah.
Steiner would gain a little bit, and then Taylor would pull away a little bit, and then it evened out, and they just kind of ran that way. But if Carter made one mistake,
he was there.
Justin was on him.
Yeah, no, he definitely made Carter use that car. Carter didn't have a chance to kind of sit back, cool the tires down a little bit and keep a pace. He definitely had to push the whole time. Justin Steiner very fast in that number 12. Carter Taylor with the win, and Dylan Courtney rounding out the podium.
Yes.
And I was talking to Mr. Brett, Carter's dad. And he got pole Friday night at Five Flags, and about lap 10, I think he told me the A-arm broke.
I saw the post on Facebook, and for Carter to be able to have an A-frame break at Pensacola and not absolutely wad a car up, incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And so
and do want to apologize to Carter about, we had an issue in qualifying.
Yeah.
His transponder went dead. We didn't realize it until He was on his
Second lap
green
already.
lap,
Yeah.
and so it was one of those things where I should have told you to black flag him, that way he wasn't out there still running, but his entire crew was right by one of our stop and go guys,
Yeah.
Tucker.
Yeah.
And so because of that, I was like, Tucker, tell them to go get a transponder. We're gonna let him make another attempt at this. I want him to get a time lap. Just we've got to get another transponder on the car.
Right.
And he was maybe only a tenth or so off of Justin Steiner.
Right.
But had we had a transponder on there, he may have broke his own track
He
record.
could have been faster. The car's up to heat on that point.
Right. Well,
Tires
and the
are used up
tires,
a little
yeah.
bit.
So a lot of times you'll go out there on sticker tires to maximize grip, and so apologies to them for us having a little bit of a technical issue, but appreciate the way that they handled it with grace.
So it's Tucker stopping? I thought it was Tyler. Is it
Is
Tucker?
it Tyrone?
It may be. I thought
Timothy.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
I never remember that guy's name.
Yeah.
We're just kidding, Tucker.
Yeah.
We know your name. And then rounding out the night was the street stocks. And speaking of a pretty hard hit, Darvin Lyons was involved in a pretty hard wreck with, who was it? Jason Welch, I think, off of turn 4.
Yeah, Darvin got pretty loose. And it, like we said, it was really loose off 4 all night, and it stepped out a little further than I think he was comfortable with.
Right.
And as he kind of tried to save it, it overcorrected. And honestly, and it's unfortunate for Mr. Welch, but he probably saved them from having to clip that car, because him hitting him in the side slowed down the momentum to where it just kind of bashed the nose in a little bit, but didn't bend the frame or anything.
Right.
And so it was our only, we had the hit in the crown stocks, but that driver was able to drive it away, drive it back to the pits. Neither of those cars were able to drive away. Unfortunately, it busted the radiator in Jason's car.
Yeah.
So we had a short cleanup.
Right.
We were so close to being done by 10 too.
Yeah.
And I think we went over like 10, 15 minutes, but shout out to the track crew. They got out there, they got the brooms on it really quickly. Got it all blown off. I mean, we were maybe under red for 15 minutes, and we had coolant all the way across the racetrack.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of, just a note for the racers out there, you need to double check to make sure you drain the antifreeze out of your car you had in the winter. Unfortunately, Jason Welch had antifreeze in his car and was not awarded any points, because that is a rule infraction to have antifreeze in the car.
Really?
Yeah, antifreeze is so slick, it's very hard to get up off of the racetrack.
Gotcha.
So you're supposed to run straight water with maybe an additive. So a lot of people don't understand what we mean by additives. There's certain things you can put in there. Royal Purple makes some stuff. The one we always used is literally called water wetter, and it helps to lower the coolant temperatures. And it's really fun whenever you go to like O'Reilly's or Advance or somewhere and you get one of those kids and you ask them like, "Hey, I need water wetter," and they just look at you like you've grown a second head, because it is the most ridiculous sounding name, but it was a great product.
It's right next to the blinker fluid, I'm sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So unfortunately for him, we would do it. We would put antifreeze in the car over the winter, because it does get cold enough down here to freeze, and if it freezes, it's going to bust a block.
Yeah.
We've had friends that they had their motors in Conic boxes, and unfortunately there was a little bit of water held in the block, and it cracked it all the way down the side. And then that motor's, you can use the internals again, but you got to get a block, you got to have it machined, you got to get it built, and it's unfortunate.
More money.
Yeah,
Cha-ching.
for sure. For sure. I have the wrong thing there, don't
No,
I? Yeah.
I
so
know. I mean,
we know who
won the street stocks. Chad Robinson.
Chad Robinson.
Chad Robinson. I mean, really cool. Chad wins so many of these races, and plus he races dirt and all this other stuff. I was wrapping up my flags and putting them in the bag, and I was talking to somebody I know from years ago, and she was there with her husband and 4 kids, and Chad walked up and said, "Hey, give this trophy to that kid," which was her son.
I want to say he did that at the first race.
Yeah,
also.
he always gives away his trophies, and he's just a fan of racing, and just to see the younger generation
I
get them involved.
I always thought that was really cool whenever you had drivers. A few years ago, Steve Buttrick was absolutely dominant at Mobile and Pensacola, and he was the first person I really saw give his trophies away.
Yeah.
And so that was really cool. And Chad, I'm sure, has got rooms full of trophies at this point. I don't know if he has a significant other or not, but they're probably to the point of like no more trophies at the house.
Do not bring another race car or trophy.
Yeah, exactly.
But then Parker McDonald and D3 Daryl McDonald
Yeah.
rounded out the top three. So McDonald boys.
Parker running second. That is
Mhm.
another SSR alumni right
Yeah.
there. Both of I think it's champion race cars.
Mhm.
They had a good showing.
Yeah.
To two in the top three.
Definitely a lot of speed in those cars.
Yes.
So I'm sure they're going to be up there battling with Chad soon.
Mhm.
But just another beautiful night of racing at Mobile.
It was a
And
lot of fun.
a lot of fun.
Man, it's just it seems like things just flowed really well the other night.
Mhm.
There was jokes on the radio. There wasn't a lot of high tension moments. It was a
Everything
really good night.
smooth. So
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
hopefully we can continue that on throughout the next few months of racing.
Mhm.
Back at SSR this weekend
Yes.
with all of our classes. Another beautiful night.
Yeah. We may be adding a class depending on car count.
Mhm.
If we get enough carts, we're gonna split them.
Okay. So
Oh yeah, do want to wish owner and proprietor of Mobile International Speedway today is the 31st.
Yep.
It is his actual birthday.
Gotcha.
I'd reached out to him yesterday to kind of get him on to see, if he wanted to come back on and kind of do the same thing we did with Abe and Andrew last week, detail first 2 weeks, stuff like that. And
Right.
he had, I almost said unfortunately, but fortunately, he had plans with his family to spend
Right.
his birthday with his family. So that's a very fortunate thing. It was a little unfortunate for us because we definitely wanted to talk to him, but it was a very fortunate thing for him.
It's kind of sad Eddie wants to spend time with the family rather than the From the Tower family.
I
But
know, man.
I'm just
I
kidding.
thought he loved us.
Happy birthday, Eddie.
It's my birthday.
Yeah.
It's my birthday.
Yeah.
It's my birthday.
Ooh.
It's my birthday.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you for all you do for the racing community yourself.
Yeah. Thank you for letting us be a part of it as
Yeah,
well.
absolutely.
Mobile is such a huge part of my family history. My grandparents met at Mobile. I literally would not be here without that racetrack.
There you go. Beautiful thing. Well, anyway, guys, I'm going to thank y'all again for watching another episode of From the Tower or listening to it, whichever way you prefer. And we want to thank y'all for being part of the From the Tower family. And we love you guys, and we will see y'all next time.
Thank y'all. Love y'all.